Hey guys, NASCAR48 back again, and welcome back to another video. And in today's video, we're going to be talking about the NASCAR predictions for the Xfinity series now, as their playoffs start at Las Vegas, and then they'll head over to Talladega and end off their first round at the Roval. So pretty much their first round of their playoffs will start as a wild card round, which I'm pretty excited for. So once again, if you guys want to check out my gaming channel and want to check out some videos, link to my channel will be in the description. Also subscribe to my gaming channel, that would mean a lot. And also if you want to follow me on Instagram, link will be in the description. But anyway, let's go ahead and get on with this. So just like we did with our first episode with the Trucksters, we're going to look at drivers that I believe that should feel pretty good in the first round. Then we'll look at some that should be probably looking and then we're also going to look at some that are probably most likely on the chopping block. So let's go ahead and dive on into this episode. So one of the drivers who I feel like should be comfortable in the first round is AJ Allmendinger, of course, because he won the regular season championship in that wild finish at Bristol this past Friday night. And yeah, he just should feel pretty comfortable, and he's heading to some tracks where he should do good at, like Vegas. He won there earlier this year. Talladega, he's part of Colleague Racing. They're hella good at super speedways. And then the Roval, he's won the last two Roval races in rain or shine. So doesn't matter for AJ Allmendinger. As round one looks pretty great and pretty solid for him in the 16 team. Now the round of 8, we'll see how that looks, but for right now, AJ Allmendinger should feel pretty comfortable in the first round. Another driver feeling comfortable should be Austin Cindric. Even though he didn't win the regular season title, he still has some pretty good runs and stuff, because he's Austin Cindric. He was the defending series champion. I mean, at Las Vegas earlier this year, I'm pretty sure he did finish, I believe he finished fourth, he finished fourth, so he should feel pretty comfortable there. And at Talladega, he had a nice solid finish, so we'll just have to see for Austin Cindric in the 22 team for what happens to them. And then the Roval, they're good at these road courses, so watch out for him. They're definitely a threat to win the race, but we'll see if he can do good, because Allmendinger is going to make a run for it. But anyway, definitely Austin Cindric, he's a championship 4 contender in my opinion, but yeah, he's definitely a good safe driver in the first round. The next driver I feel that should be comfortable in the first round is Justin Allgaier. Also just want to say, Harper, his daughter, makes great helmets, or great playoff helmets for him. This year's look perfect and stuff. I love it and stuff, so can't wait to see Justin Allgaier repping that helmet in the playoffs. Hopefully it can give him some good luck to win the championship, but we'll just have to wait and see. But still, Justin Allgaier should also feel pretty comfortable in the first round. Of course, he's another consistent driver and stuff. He's like that. He's just like that driver. He's like the third wheel behind that Austin Cindric and AJ Allmendinger rivalry. He's just right behind there, just like trying to get up there. Like he's like that third rank and stuff. But anyway, at Vegas, he did finish 14th, which was not that good. And then at Talladega, he did finish 29th, but I believe he did get in a wreck. And at the Charlotte Roval, AJ Allmendinger, Justin Allgaier is pretty good at the road courses, but in recent history, I guess the Roval isn't really his go-to road course and stuff, so it doesn't really seem like that all good of a first round for the 7 team, so they definitely need to build up some consistency and some momentum, but they're definitely not the worst driver in the playoffs right now, so definitely that should help Allgaier move on into the next round, so I feel like he's comfortable. Now let's move on to the next driver. Another driver, Noah Gragson. Why I say Noah Gragson? During the playoffs for the Cup Series, Gragson in the Xfinity Series has just been on it. He won at Darlington, he won at Richmond. He's definitely has the momentum heading into the first round of the playoffs. So watch out for Noah Gragson to peak out and just make some noise in the playoffs, because at Las Vegas earlier this year, he did get a nice solid top 5 finish. He finished 5th, so that's actually pretty good. And then he finished 6th at Talladega earlier this year, and he finished runner-up to AJ Allmendinger last year at the Charlotte Roval. But I'll cut him some slack, because that's it was rain and stuff. But still, he had a nice solid run going, and he was leading at one point in that race. So definitely watch out for Noah Gragson in this first run. I feel like he could definitely get through it pretty easily and stuff. So we'll just see how he can can do. But anyway, Gragson's definitely another driver that I feel like is comfortable in this first round. Next up, Justin Haley's another driver I feel like that is pretty comfortable, because really Haley not his best year and stuff, but he's definitely put on some good consistency in these last few races. So definitely don't count out Justin Haley. So I feel like he should be pretty comfortable in this first round, because Haley, he made the championship 4 last year. He was really good last year, and so I feel like this year it hasn't carried on, but he's still running and some nice solid. He's just been having some nice solid runs, and he just won at Daytona 2-3 weeks ago. So still the consistency can roll for them. I mean, they did finish 8th at Las Vegas earlier this year, and they finished 8th again at Talladega and stuff. So watch out for him. I feel like he'll have a nice solid top 10 run at Las Vegas. He'll definitely have a top 5, maybe a win at Talladega. Who knows? And the Roval isn't really his go-to racetrack either, because he's not really a road course racer in my opinion. So let's just see how the super speedway works out for him and just call it racing in general. But still, I feel like Justin Haley can definitely make his way into the second round of the playoffs, just because the momentum he's had these last few races, because he's had 4 straight top 10 finishes ever since his win. I mean, he had his win, then he finished 4th at Darlington, he finished 2nd to Gregson at Richmond, and just finished 6th at Bristol. So watch out for Justin Haley. Definitely a driver you got to look out for to make his way up into this probably championship talk like Noah Gragson could be. And finally, the last driver that I feel is comfortable in this first round is Daniel Hemric. Even though he has no wins in his career in the Xfinity Series, you still can't count him out, because I feel like Daniel Hemric is just the most consistent non-winning Xfinity Series driver there is right now. I mean, these last few races, I mean, yeah, he did get 5th at Daytona and get 6th at Richmond, but Darlington finished 24th, and he did get a nice solid top 10 finish at Bristol. But if we're talking about Vegas, he did finish runner-up there earlier this year, so watch out for him when we head to Vegas on Saturday. And also for Talladega, he did finish 12th, but that's a super speedway, anything can happen. And the Charlotte Roval, I'm not really 100% sure. Probably getting a top 10 finish, but he's not really a road course driver in my opinion. So I feel like Daniel Hemric could definitely creep his way in to the next round. So just watch out for him, because I feel like he'll start to peak at some time and probably get a win and probably start to make a bit of a deep playoff run. But we'll just have to wait and see for that. Now let's look at the drivers who I think don't really look so good in this first round. So one of them has to be Jeb Burton, in my opinion. I love Jeb Burton. He's definitely a good driver. It's just that his win at Talladega, it was good for him to finally just get that win in the Xfinity Series. But the issue I have with him is that he's not really that consistent. He was very consistent at the beginning of this season, but ever since he got his win, he hasn't really been firing off all cylinders and stuff. I mean, he did finish 4th at Daytona, of course. He finished 5th at Darlington, finished 10th at Richmond, but then got 24th at Bristol and stuff. So you need to have better runs than that. But I still think he can definitely make a nice, solid, deep playoff run. Because Vegas earlier this year, he did get 10th, which is very good for him. And then at Talladega, of course, he won. So watch out for him once we head back there. And at the Roval, I don't even think he ran at the Roval last year. So that we'll see how that goes. So really, just watch out for these next couple races, because the consistent runs can definitely help him, but some inconsistent runs could definitely hurt him. So we'll just have to watch out for him. But I still think he can have the potential to make it on into the second round. The next driver you may be scratching your head about into making a deep playoff run is Harrison Burton, because of course won 4 races last year, has 0 so far, a big old goose egg and stuff. And even 2 of his wins last year were kind of earned, they were earned and stuff. But we'll just have to see. And he's going Cup Series racing next year, which doesn't really make sense to me still to this day, even when they made that announcement in July. But still, Harrison Burton, I don't really have a whole lot of confidence in him, because he's not really that consistent. But I have to admit, in these last few races, he's been having a good few runs and stuff. He's had 5th, 9th, 5th, 9th, 2nd, 9th, 7th. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 straight top 10 finishes in these actually in the last 8 races. They've all been top 10 finishes, so that's definitely good for Harrison Burton for him, just the consistency he's just been on. And at Vegas, he did finish 9th there, so I'll give him some credit there. And he also finished 10th at Talladega earlier this year. Now, Charlotte Rollwifer, I don't really know where he finished, but I don't really see him as a road course racer either, so we'll just have to see. But Harrison Burton has definitely been very consistent in these last 8 races, so let's see if the streak can continue on, because 8 straight top 10 finishes, that is something you like to see, especially heading into the playoffs. And now, next driver, Myatt Snider. Myatt Snider, man, Myatt Snider, he's an driver, I have to say, in my opinion, because, these last few races, he's had some nice solid runs. Like, he'll have like a 7th or an 8th or a 9th, but then sometimes he'll probably finish like 36th or 25th and stuff. But I still think Myatt Snider does have some good potential stuff to be a good race car driver, but I'm not sure if the playoffs it will look so good for him, because that Homestead win, that would never have happened if it wasn't for David Starr and Noah Gragson getting together. So really got to think about that. But he did have a nice run there. And as we head to Vegas, he did finish 32nd there, but I believe he did have an issue in that race. And then at Talladega, he did get a 9th place finish, but we'll have to see, because I think a lot of good things are going to have to come to Myatt Snider's way if he wants to have a shot at it. So we'll just have to see for him. And another Joe Gibbs Toyota that has not done as well as he did last year is Brandon Jones. Brandon Jones, I don't know what's going on with him. In the last 4 races, he's had a 40th, 33rd, or 20th place finish. He did finish 5th at Bristol. I'll give him that. He did finish 2nd, I believe, at Michigan, which is pretty good. But still, Brandon Jones has just had so many struggles, so many DNFs and stuff. It just cannot happen to him right now. So bad luck is definitely something that's probably going to get in his way. And it's definitely going to be pressure on him because he's had these struggles. So we'll see what happens with Brandon Jones. But definitely a driver you just have to really worry about in the playoffs. Now on to Riley Herbst. Riley Herbst I believe in the last 6 races, Riley Herbst has had 5 top 10 finishes, which is very good. He finished 8th at the Brickyard, finished, I believe, 7th at Michigan, 10th at Daytona. He did have a not so good finish, 38th at Darlington, but that wasn't really his fault, something he had no control of. Finished 5th at what was the track? Oh yeah, Richmond, and finished 3rd at Bristol. So definitely consistent runs in these last 6 races have definitely come into his way. But the thing I don't really like about Riley Herbst is the struggles he had earlier this year, not having a win, and also the inexperience he kind of has. And not only that, but also one other thing. I really don't want to say it, but I have to say it. He's just not as good as these other drivers in the playoffs right now. That's going to be a big issue for Riley Herbst, but the consistent runs are definitely going to work out in his favor, but we'll have to see. This is only prediction. Anything can happen, because a lot of these drivers right here that are trying to make it onto the second round it's going to be hard. It's going to be hard for Herbst, and we'll just have to see if he can earn it. And then the final driver that I feel like is definitely probably going to struggle in the playoffs, or to make it into the next round, is Jeremy Clements. Nothing on Clements. He did everything that he needed to do to make the playoffs and stuff. The thing is just the equipment he's in, and not just being as good as any of his other playoff competitors, definitely going to hurt him and stuff. But I love that he's going to have the Out of the Group logo on his car for Vegas, sponsored by Eric Estep, so that's going to be pretty cool. But still, I don't know about the consistent runs for Jeremy Clements, especially being in that equipment, and I don't think he's just as good as his other competitors, and that's just the truth right there. I do like Jeremy Clements, and he did finish 13th at Bristol. He did stay out of trouble, but you just got to think, he finished 17th at Vegas earlier this year. Even at Talladega, he didn't even get a top 10. He started and finished 14th and stuff. That sucked. And Roval, I'm not sure, but he is a pretty decent road course racer. He did win at Mid-Ohio that one time in 2017, I believe, or I think it was 2017, but we'll have to see what can happen for Jeremy Clements in the 51 team. Definitely have a lot of potential, but can they make it into the next round? That's beyond me, and I couldn't really answer that. But now, the moment we've all been waiting for, let's look at the 4 drivers that I predict that will not make it into the round of 8, and I'll give you my explanation why. So the first driver I have eliminated is no question about it, Jeremy Clements. Like I said, the reason why I don't have him making it on to the round of 8 is just the equipment he's in, and then just drivers being better than him and stuff. It's just gonna be hard for Jeremy Clements just to catch up with them, and he doesn't really have the best finishes here and there. So definitely gonna be a bit of a struggle for the 51 team, but it's still a great effort for them to make the playoffs. It's just still a great effort to have your name in with one of the drivers that's going to win the championship at the end of the year. So it's definitely pretty cool for him, but it looks like their playoff hopes will be coming out early. So I predict him to miss the round of 8. So now let's look at our other 3 drivers. The next driver I predict is Brandon Jones. Brandon Jones, like I said, has had a terrible season. He was doing pretty okay and consistent in the playoffs, but then towards once the playoffs started getting closer and closer, he's just been having these bad runs, these incidents that's been happening, and it's just been unfortunate issues. Some of them his fault, some of them weren't, and stuff. He just can't help it and stuff. So that's what I think is definitely gonna hold him down. The pressure definitely gonna get to him and stuff, because I predicted him to be the champion, but nowhere near that for Brandon Jones. It's gonna suck for him to be an early exit in the playoffs, but that's what we kind of expected after seeing his performance in the regular season. So we'll see what happens. Anything can change, but right now Brandon Jones definitely the driver that I think is going to be eliminated in the first round along with Jeremy Clements. Now let's look at our last 2 drivers. The next driver I have that will be eliminated is Myatt Snider, and I made it clear. Snider, of course, he's pretty good. He's had a very great season. I don't know, he just doesn't really look like a playoff material guy. I mean, that win, because I think I saw this before. I think without that win, that Snider probably wouldn't even be in the playoffs, or he'd probably be very low in the playoffs, probably maybe 11th or 12th or something. So you got to also think about that. And Snider, I just don't think he does not have the experience. So let this experience with these next 3 races hit him, and we'll see what he could do if he comes back next year and makes the playoffs. Hopefully he can make a deeper run than he could this year, but anything can happen, only prediction. But still, I don't think Myatt Snider will make it on to the round of 8, just because the inexperience in him, and he hasn't really had that much of a good season if you don't count his win from Homestead. And the final driver I have eliminated in the playoffs is Riley Herbst. This was a pretty tough one. It was between him, Harrison Burton, and Jeb Burton for that final playoff spot. But I'm going to pick Riley Herbst and stuff. I know he's had 8, no, not him. I know he's been having very great runs in these last 5-6 races and stuff, but you just got to give the benefit of the doubt, because Jeb Burton, Harrison Burton have been having a really nice, solid season and stuff. Not as great that some of us thought, especially for Harrison Burton, but still, I do think Harrison Burton's definitely going to continue on his 8 straight top 10 streak into more. And Riley Herbst, I think, just getting his feet wet. I mean, he did make the playoffs last year, and I think, yeah, of course, he got eliminated in the first round. So I'm not sure if Riley Herbst definitely is going to have the best playoff run, but we'll see, because the number one thing I'm going to say about Riley Herbst on why he won't make it onto the round of 8, I feel like he peaked too late. When Riley Herbst was having these nice strong runs, he should have had that at the beginning of the season or towards the middle of the season. He peaked too late. That's the reason why I don't think he'll make it onto the next round. But if it comes to a close battle and he still gets eliminated, it'd be a great last-ditch effort for him to make it in. But so I predict him, of course, Brandon Jones, Jeremy Clements, and finally, and definitely not least, Myatt Snider and stuff. So Herbst, Snider, Jeremy Clements, and did I just forget who else I picked? Oh, Brandon Jones. Oh my gosh. All right, Herbst, Jones, Snider, and Clements are the 4 drivers that I predict that will not make it in to the round of 8. So the 8 drivers that I think that will make the round of 8 are Allgaier, Cindric, Allmendinger, Harrison Burton, Jeb Burton, oh my gosh, did I actually forget the rest of the drivers? I am so sorry, guys. I said Cindric, Allmendinger, Allgaier, Gregson, Haley, Hemrick, Burton, and the other Burton, Jeb and Harrison Burton. So those are the 8 drivers that I predict that'll make it into the round of 8. It's going to be some pretty tough competition right here, because this was not really an easy decision to make, but I feel sorry for doing it, but you just have to give it for Riley Herbst. I feel like he's definitely making a last-ditch effort to have a nice run for the rest of the season, but he just peaked a bit too late. And that's going to do it. So, guys, thank you guys so much for watching. Please like, comment, share, subscribe. Let me know what you guys predict of who will make it into the round of 8. Who are your 4 drivers that you think will be eliminated in the first round of the playoffs? Mine were Riley Herbst, Jeremy Clements, Brandon Jones, and Myatt Snyder. The 8 I predicted to make it in were Harrison Burton, Jeff Burton, Allgaier, Cindric, Allmendinger, Hemrick, Haley, and Noah Gregson. So let me know who you guys think will make it and be eliminated. Once again, if you guys want to look at my gaming, go check out my gaming channel and subscribe over to it. Link will be in the description. If you want to follow me on Instagram, link will be in the description. And that's going to do it. So see you guys in the next one. Of course, the video will have our playoff predictions for the Cup Series tomorrow, so can't wait for that. But anyway, I'll see you guys next one. Have a great rest of your night. This is NASCAR Mobile 48. Peace out.